Hi, this is comedian Monique Latise, and you are watching Comic Life, where we talk about everything comedy, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So today we have a very important guest, Kool Bubba Ice. He's a comedian from New Jersey. You've seen him on Def Comedy Jam, Comedy Central, Showtime at the Apollo, and several other television shows. Kool Bubba Ice, come on in.
What's up, girl? How y'all doing out
Hey,
there? Yeah,
how you
yeah.
doing?
I'm all right, you know what I'm saying? Living large, you know what I'm
I
saying?
see.
Doing my thing, you know what I
I,
mean?
I know that's right.
Yeah.
All right, well, welcome to Comic Life. And this is a place where we're going to talk about what goes on the stage and behind the scenes.
Okay,
So let your hair down, get comfortable, and let's chat.
cool.
So you started comedy at 18?
Yeah, 1989. The first time I hit a stage was in January. I did a Christian retreat talent show in January, and then I had a my first show I did was at Irvington High School, and that's because of oh man, oof. Um,
So you did a church show was the first show you ever did?
yeah, the first show I ever did was at a Christian retreat. My best friend and I, we used to go there like every year. Like we was going there like I think 2 years in a row, 2 or 3 years in a
Okay.
row, and we kept going in. And one year I said I want to do comedy. So what I did was my boy, my best friend, he could rap. And then I went up there and just did a whole bunch of impersonations. Everybody like, wow, 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 wow. So everybody's all intrigued. So I said, okay, this is what I want to do. And the next month, I did a comedy. Oh Lord, I wish I could find. I gotta see if I can find it. It's on VHS. A comedy VHS, and I thought I did 30 minutes, but I only did like 18. But it felt like 35. No studio audience, no nothing. It was in Jersey City. It was a
Okay.
studio. You can go in there, you can shoot your stuff or whatever you want to do. Make a video, uh, sing, anything you wanted to do.
Let's go back to the fact that you were at a church. Because that's rare. Either you get into church and you do church comedy for the whole duration of your career, or you either do secular most of the time. I'm one of the few that can do both. So you're telling me you started out doing church? I did not know that.
Well, it wasn't a church. It was a Christian retreat. So what it was
A
like,
church.
yeah, no, it wasn't at a church. It was actually a retreat. So what happened was that particular spot where my best friend he moved to Plainfield, and
Uh-huh.
he was always getting in trouble.
But was it
So,
was it a clean show?
well, I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that. So what happened was it was a church event. So what happened was they every year they would go get all the people that was in that church, and they would go take like a bus ride up some mountains and stuff, and we would hang out there for the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We come back home Sunday. We got
Yeah.
there like Friday evening, and they had church, they had events and stuff like that there. And that particular night, we said we wanted to do a talent show, what have you, and we did like a semi type talent show type thing. And that's when my boy jumped up and rapped, and then I did a whole bunch of impersonations. I don't believe I remember that. That was 36 years ago. Damn.
Wow, wow. Yeah, because you're known for your impersonations. You do some of the best impersonations. I've seen you do DMX. I've seen you
Yeah.
do Monique. I've seen you do Denzel Washington.
Hmm.
I've seen you do like what's your favorite impersonation to do?
I don't know. That's funny. I like the ones whoever get the most response. That's the one of my favorite.
So
Whoever
which
gets
one
the
do
most
you do
response.
that people just go crazy?
It used to be Bernie Mac. Um, yeah, it used to be Bernie Mac or DMX. My DMX is just crazy. So
Yeah.
you usually do those two, either
Your
DMX or
Monique is
Bernie
pretty
Mac.
good too. Your Monique is pretty good.
Yeah, not nobody do Monique except
For
for me.
real.
So, no, nobody do Monique but me.
No,
You know?
she has a very distinct voice. So you nail it every time.
Yes.
Before the end of the show, we're gonna get you to do one.
Okay.
So where did you get your name, Kool Bubba Ice? Where does
Ooh.
that come from?
Okay, so Kool Bubba Ice came from it's one of my comedian buddies. His name was Humor. And at one time Humor was doing comedy, and Humor changed his name. He changed his whole identity. He went from Humor to Mac Daddy, and he became a pimp comedian. And we was doing a celebration at this club we used to call it National Black Theater, aka the Uptown Comedy Club in Harlem. And we had this big old anniversary show. That was like their second anniversary show. and he said, "Yo, you gonna be my?" We was acting out the skit, and in the skit I was supposed to play his bodyguard. So he was like, "Yo, you gonna be my bodyguard? You gonna be Bubba Ice?" I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, you gonna." That's how he talk. You gonna be Bubba Ice? I said, "Bubba Ice? What kind of name is that?" And it just stuck. And then I went from my government name to Bubba Ice. And then one night I went on stage and my the host, God rest his dead, his name's Monterio Ivy. He called me Kool Bubba Ice, and it stuck. And I had the same name since 1990.
Wow, that's amazing. Have you ever thought about changing your name?
Oh yeah, I changed it a couple of times. Like Kool Bubba X Clown and all kind of weird stuff. It was like, what? Kool Bubba X Clown? Yeah. So the Hamburger and Derek Fox was there for that one. They was like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just leave it alone. At that time, everybody knew me as Kool Bubba Ice. So it would have been
Right.
goofy suicide to change it then.
And how did you develop your style in comedy? And you started out wearing like the big hats and the colorful clothes. How did that come about?
The well the cast at the Uptown Comedy Club gave me my look. They was like, yo, we want you to you either your look is gonna be wearing like 1970 Swedish Knicks, big shoes, platform shoes, and all that type of stuff. And I did that for a little while. And they're like, I can't be wearing this. So my idea was that I'm gonna just go as colorful as I can to be stand out. So I just actually started wearing pajamas. And what happened was I had a few designers that I knew in Jersey at the time. I told them to make some outfits. One of them was my son's cousin, my son's mother's cousin, and she made my first outfit. I still have it too. And she made my outfit, and then somebody else made. I mean, it was crazy. And 10 grand friends, they made my out. One of her friend designer friends, he made me an outfit. So I just kept finding these designers that make these crazy clothes, and I just kept rocking those out.
Now I noticed through the years that changed a little bit. You toned it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Was it because of the time? Is it something that you wanted to do? Did you just mature? Like, how did you decide to change your style up?
Well, I got I'm an Aquarius, so we get bored. So if it's not working no more, we're like, I'm gonna do something different. I just like to be different. So that's why I like the pajamas at that time because it was different.
Hmm.
Nobody was doing it. Everybody was just wearing suits and ties or the black designer clothes, which was dope. But I just felt like I wanted to stand out, and I knew if I wore the crazy stuff that I wore, I was definitely gonna stand out, and I
And
did.
and
So
you do. You still
yeah.
do.
Yeah, I mean,
So
yeah, I it's
yeah,
not as
you
crazy as
still
it used
do.
to
You
be,
you
though.
still you still walk in like you the finest man on the planet with your
Yeah,
little
got
gold chains and your
yeah,
colors.
yeah, gotta do that.
Um,
Gotta do that.
so how would you describe your style?
Oh man, so it was this comedian. He probably don't even know, but when we first started, we knew this brother. His name was Dougie Doug, and Dougie Doug was phenomenal. Like he was all over the place. He would run from one part of the stage to the other part of the stage, and Dougie Doug did impersonations too, not as many as I did, but he did impersonations and he did jokes and he did characters. It's like he did so much stuff. And by watching him, I kind of took a little piece of him, a little piece of Eddie Murphy, and that's how I kind of got my style after that. So I never really remembered how until like later on. I remember that I did kind of sample Dougie Doug a little bit because Dougie Doug was like zany all over the place,
Hmm.
going from one thing to another. I remember one night he went on stage and in the National Black Theater at the time, they did plays. So it was a door on stage, and he kept opening up the door. And every time he opened up the door, he was a different character. He would be Jesse Jackson, Martin Luther King. Like he just kept, oh, yo, that's crazy. I wish I could do that. And at that time, I could do it, but I would try to do all the different voices. At the time I could do it, but I couldn't do too many at one time. I could do maybe one or two at a time. But now I'm mastered to the point I could do 7, 10, 20, and just keep ramming, ramming, ramming. But at that time, he was like way before me. So I never saw nothing like that before.
And you can sing. So you like multi-talented. You act,
Hmm.
you're funny, you act, and you
Hmm.
can sing. And like,
Yeah.
so do you implement singing a lot? Like, how did that come? How did you realize that you could sing and that you should start using that into your set?
That was real early on, like around, well, not that early on, like I think like the 90s I started. late '90s, I saw implementing singing into my act, and then I kind of went full throttle. Like in 2006, I started putting more singing in my act. Matter of fact, my second appearance on Comic View, I started doing more singing stuff. And people, like, oh, you got a nice voice. You should sing. I was like, yeah. I said, all right, but I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
So
you do have a really nice voice.
yeah, a little something. So I'm thinking about putting
Yes.
out an album. I'm tired of farting around. I'm gonna give me a couple comments that know how to sing and put a whole album
I
out.
know
It's
that's
gonna be
right.
crazy. Yeah, we
I
gotta
know
get this
that's
one.
right.
Yep.
So, with you being different, with your style, your comedy, and being a triple threat, how did other comedians respond to you?
Well, I mean, I found out a few of them don't really care for me, which I don't care, because you can't worry about who don't like you and who like you, because you'll go crazy. And people are always going to have something to say about you, and it's like, let them talk. The more they talk about you, the better, so people will know when they ain't talking about you, that's when you got something to worry about. Like, hey, nobody talking about me. Like, yeah, you want them to talk about you, you want them to say some slick shit about you, and it's cool, let them talk, because while they sitting around talking about you going out there and you getting better. Because
Mm,
they're all sitting around and just talking about people all day is all right to a degree if it's something positive, but if it's just negative and just talking and crap about people and this and that, you could spend that time getting your whole act better instead of you
right,
talking about people for hours. So
right, right.
that's how I look at it.
So you're from New Jersey. I'm from New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
New Jersey is known kind of as the hub for comedy. And I'm
Mm,
saying that because a lot of the Def Comedy Jam comedians were founded at the Peppermint Lounge.
well, okay. So what had happened was basically the comics you see that got on Def Comedy Jam was because of oh man, that's a whole nother story. But the whole Def Comedy Jam thing actually is from the Uptown Comedy Club in Harlem, and
Okay.
that's where it originally started from. So the Uptown Comedy Club in Harlem is where Def Comedy Jam was born at.
Oh,
And
okay. I didn't.
yeah, that's where it's actually born at, was the Uptown Comedy Club in Harlem. The Kev and Andre Brown, they started this thing at Uptown Comedy Club in Harlem, and that was actually the first black-owned comedy club in Harlem. Before now, we got the comedy in Harlem. So when I seen them come up, I ain't gonna front, I almost cry, because I was like, oh my god, that's like coming resurging all over again, and we
Yeah.
needed that. But back to Def Comedy Jam, people actually came to Uptown first,
Okay.
and then that's how people start getting known or whatever, from the National Black Theater, Uptown Comedy Club in Harlem. Um, so
Did
Russell
you perform
Simmons,
at Peppermint Lounge?
who didn't? Everybody performed at that crazy ass spot. Oh my god, that spot. So this is the funny part. People want to make it seem like Peppermint Lounge is this nice place to perform and all. Let me tell you something. Peppermint Lounge was like World War III.
I heard. That's what I heard. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
heard
like
that.
people be trying to paint it like it was this great spot to be at, and it wasn't. It was scary. And whenever Tina Graham called us for the show, we knew on Thursday in the daytime, we saw that call ID box and it had Tina Graham on it. We didn't answer the phone because we like, oh, she gonna want us to perform at the Peppermint tonight because somebody from New York canceled out because they got scared. And then they come grab us because we from Jersey. We the Jersey comics, so they grab us every time. But they gave us a hard time too, but not like they gave everybody else. If you wasn't
But
from Jersey, they woo, and you wasn't funny, they gave you the business at the minute.
see, that's when I say Jersey is one of the hubs for comedy. That's kind of what I mean. Um, because I feel like Jersey didn't play and still don't play
No,
when it
no,
comes to the funny.
yeah, you got
I
to
feel
be
like
funny.
they demand so much from us, just like Chicago, just like
Mm-hmm.
Detroit. So when
Yeah.
I say we're one of the hubs, that's exactly what I mean. And so my question to you is, how do you handle hecklers?
Oh, we learned that a long time ago. See all this stuff that I'm doing. I keep giving them props. People may not like it, but whatever, because whoever came up with us, some of them don't, didn't like. This is a whole other story. Anyway, I learned from the Uptown Comedy Club in Harlem. They taught us how to write jokes. They taught us how to break down a joke. They taught us how to handle hecklers. They taught us. They broke. To this day, I still have my book of the breakdown of what we supposed to do while we on stage. And I remember at Uptown, we did the first snap battle, me and Humor, and they we was the guinea pigs. So they we had to actually go to comedy clubs in New York and New Jersey, and we will battle each other.
Oh
And I only
wow.
had like 5 snaps. Humor had 1,000 of them. I only had maybe like
So
five in the
what's the
script.
technique for handling a heckler? Because I don't like hecklers. I don't like nothing about them because I get mad and I want to fight.
Yeah.
So
See, well, I heard. I heard about that.
yeah, like I don't do well with hecklers.
Be-
So
okay, so when we started out, that was part of comedy where you could be funny, but it's always gonna be somebody. Yeah, what about your shirt? And we just had to we had to deal with it. So that's what we was used to. So you got to combat with them and go back and forth. That's how I came up. That's all I know. So even
okay,
to this day, if I get into a situation with a heckler, I know how to handle them. But back then, it was, sometimes I could get them and sometimes they got me. Because remember, I'm wearing pajamas. And
right.
so
But
they
I know they tried to test you.
all the time because I have pajamas on. So
Right,
I got
right.
pajamas on and big ass hat and furry slippers. They gonna come get me. So I had to learn how to handle
Yeah,
myself
yeah. I
because
can see
that's
that.
all they came for me all the time. So
Right.
sometimes they wouldn't come for me, and sometimes they did. And if I hit them with two good ones, pat, 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 they were like, "All right, I'm gonna leave him alone." I remember one time I performed in Alabama somewhere, Muscle Shoals, Alabama. I'll never forget that show. And they was like, I hopped on stage with my pajamas on, and I looked like a domino. It was black on this side and white on the back of me with the black and white leather hat. It looked dope, but they wasn't feeling it. And I jump on stage, and this guy had a jar of liquor in a mayonnaise jar, and he was like, "Oh hell no!" As soon as I came out there, and he threw his liquor down, and they tried to and they just went after me, and they tried to snap on me. And every time they try to snap on me, I have pow, 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 pow. They was, oh shit. And somebody else says, pow, 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 oh shit, pow, 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 pow. Oh, like they couldn't get me. So they just kind of just sat there like, because they couldn't get me. Because I was by that time, I was used to people mess with me because I had the pajamas on. So they was like, this
I
shit,
love
nothing.
that. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Um,
so.
so let me ask you this. So the comedy has changed over the years, with the internet, social media,
Mhm.
the type of comedy that people are attracted to. I'm watching a lot of videos where a lot of the comics are doing crowd work, and that's all they're doing.
Yeah.
How have you handled the adjustment with the times changing with comedy?
Comedy is like a 360. It always goes back to the original. So
Mm,
you can always people doing crowd work. We've been doing crowd. We was doing crowd work before crowd work was even popular because sometimes you get into a situation where they're not a comedy crowd. So you got to
mm,
do crowd work. And this is in the beginning. In the beginning, they didn't know some places we went to, they didn't even know what a comedy show was. You know what I mean? So
right.
we had to do crowd work first, and then we could jump into our act because by that
Yes.
time they knew what we was doing. But
Yep.
now crowd work is this big old thing. And I'm like, we've been doing that. We've been doing that
Right.
for years. We had to do that when we performed at strip clubs. We performed at birthday parties. We performed when we was doing shows where they would have dance night, whatever we want to call it back, dancing night or whatever they call it. They didn't call it discotheque in the '90s, but it was club night. So
Hmm.
it was this club in Manhattan. We used to perform at on Saturday nights, and I mean the club jam packed. People perform, dancing or whatever. And at midnight, we had to get on top of a ladder and I'm serious. We had to jump on top of a ladder in the middle of the dance floor and do jokes for
Wow.
like 20 minutes, 15, 20
Okay.
minutes. And then after that, get off the ladder, boom, party go back on again. So we performed at so many weird, crazy places. Like,
Right.
it's like, I forgot all about that
What's
club.
one of the
Damn.
craziest, weirdest places you performed that you would not want to go back and do again?
Yeesh, I got to think on that one. That's a tough one. I done did barnyards. I done did strip clubs. I done did backyard joints, birthday parties, baby showers. You name it, we done it.
Swinger
We've done.
parties,
Huh?
swinger shows.
Yeah, I ain't gonna say who I did that with, but yeah, I did one before. That was definitely different. I like that one. I would love to do another swinging show again. That was
Okay.
fun.
So we're gonna roll right into um the flip side of comedy now. There's rumors that you like, plus size women.
There ain't no room. Everybody know I like thick
So let's
chicks.
clear let's clear this up. Let's clear this up. And how did that start? And why? Why us?
How? I don't know. You know what? As a child, a lot of my mom's friends was thick, so
Okay.
that's all I'm used to seeing. I'm used to seeing thick black women that had money that work hard. And I like, yeah, that that she look and that's what you kind of like. And
Yeah.
my dad at one time he liked it. My dad liked thick chicks. So they kind of run in the family. We all kind of like the thick ones, but honestly,
But
I
you
can't
got an
just
extra thing. People think that you got an extra thing for us.
well, you know what? I used to, but then as time went on, yeah, it's still the same thing. But I used to, that was like the goal. But as time goes on, it just kind of like a little bit of everybody. They don't
Okay.
have to be, they only got to be thick. Like, I went from thick, thin. I didn't have short, tall, like, I just like them all. So as time went on,
So
like I said, it wasn't just this one particular type. It
right.
became, I just like them all. It could be short, they could be thick, they could be a little fluffy. I just love the fluffies out there. There's a difference between thick and fluffy. Now I done took
Okay.
down some 300s, 250s, 300s. I done took some down.
What's
I
the
can't
biggest?
do it like I
What's the
used
what's
to.
the biggest you had?
Huh?
What's the biggest?
Oh man, I think the biggest I had was like 350.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, no, 350. No, I might close to four, but I don't
Oh,
know. That was like fun. To me, that was fun. And
right,
then I
right.
remember we did a show on one of them islands maybe like 2 years ago, and I said, I would have took her down in my 20s. I can't do it no more. Like, can't do that. I would have took her down. She was like I like them thick and shapely. I don't want them to be thick and they just look like somebody poured, mud on the ground, like, yeah, do it. Trust me, like, yeah,
You
hit
know
that.
what?
Like, no, they got to be shapely, breastises
Yeah.
and dunks and thighs and pretty
So do
toes.
so they, do they go crazy after over you after the shows? Because like everybody asks me all the time, like I know those guys be wanting to holler at you after the show. I don't get that.
Because the reason why you don't get that is because guys are intimidated by you. Because when you start talking your stuff on stage, guys will get intimidated. I know why they don't, because they get intimidated. But then you got them straight up Wolverines don't give a damn. They
For real.
going they going to do their shot. Like, that's a challenge. Let's go.
Right. Cause
Ah,
yeah.
so
Cause it's
some
always
guys think
one.
it's a challenge. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. They gonna
It's
think it's a
always one that'll
challenge.
jump in my inbox and be like, "Yeah, I saw you at the show. I heard what you
Yeah,
said."
it's always gonna be one, but I mean, majority guys they be the dumb, so they don't. They think you married, you got kids, you got a wife, a
Right.
husband, and so they
Right.
goofy. Not a wife, but I'm just saying they think you married
They don't know
because
what's going on. They like, is she
I
gay?
know
Is she straight? Is she poly? What?
because
Um,
because most my dad told me this a long time ago, and he never lied. He said the most beautiful women in the world go home alone because people think they already got somebody already, and they
yes.
don't. They be single as
That's
hell, and guys be scared to talk to them because they think they got somebody already.
that is so true.
Yep, he
So
told me this.
for you after the show, I mean, do you get a lot of numbers? Like for you as a male in the business, how does that work for you?
Well, as you get older, the it's not like it used to be. In my 20s and 30s, I'm chasing the edge, chasing the edge, fun. But as you get older, the younger girls kind of like might try to holler at me, whatever. But the girls my age or whatever, they like, they might be married or whatever, or they scared because they think I'm a snap on. Like someone's just saying, I thought you was gonna start cracking jokes. I'm like, why would I do that? Like that's
Right.
stupid. Like that's just stupid. She's like, hey, I thought you was gonna start snapping on me. Why
Yo,
would I
I
snap
get
on
that
you?
all the time. I get
Yeah,
that all the time. I don't want to talk to you. You ain't gonna get on stage and tell my business. You ain't gonna start
yeah,
cracking on me. You ain't
yeah,
gonna put me in your material. I get that
yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, that's king. They king of that dumb dumb. I'm like, why would I jump on? Say, yeah,
So,
remember that girl y'all talking about last night? Like, no, Nobody
So do
doing
you
all
think it's
that.
harder to have relationships when you're in comedy? You think that, being a comedian is like a red flag for us in relationships?
Well, the thing that the gift and the curse, if you ever look at the mask of comedy, is a happy mask and it's a sad mask. So the happy mask is because we make people laugh, we get everybody to stop thinking about their problems. But the sad mask is us inside because we don't have what people think we have. So
Mm,
people think we in a good relationship or we in a relationship, and some of us are single, and then some of us got in the relationship and it's not as good as they thought it was going to be. So the curse of comedy is that you're not gonna have it all. Only a few get it all, where they get the great marriage, the great career, the this, with that, and with everything else. And then some people got a great career, but they don't have a relationship. Some people have
mm,
a great relationship, but they don't have a career. So that's the give and take of comedy. There's no such thing as you having it all. I mean,
right,
you're gonna get some of it, but you're not gonna get it all. You may be a millionaire, but you might be married and miserable, or you might
right,
be married or you might be single and just be a hoe the rest of your life because you
right,
can't find nobody that's going to really calm down. Because a lot of women get intimidated when they see you on stage and you performing and people laughing and the girls in the back saying some real wild nasty stuff, and you don't know what they saying, but they hearing it. So when I
right.
was with my son's mother, she used to tell me all kind of stuff. She's like, "Yeah, that girl with the red dress on was about to take her panties off." I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, for real? Which one? So, you find out a lot of stuff when whomever you come to the show with tells you when they sitting in the back, the stuff that they hear is crazy. So same
And
thing with a female comic when y'all go on stage and y'all performing, and it's all when we be in the back listening to guys in the back. Yo, I tear that up. So you see them
yeah,
lips? You see them lips? Like they be going crazy. So
trust me.
yeah, they be going
It, it,
crazy.
it gets crazy. And
Mhm.
people don't realize the sacrifices we make, with our families when we do comedy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of those sacrifices that you've made, being on the road, being away from your family, holidays. Our busiest season is like the holidays, you know. So
Well,
talk
when my
about, some of the sacrifices you've made.
Well, when my son was younger, I didn't play that. When my son was younger, I did not take all those shows. When it came to Christmas and his birthday, I was around. I didn't play that mess. As he got older, yeah, I might have took a show here and there when he got a teenager. And I remember his I think it was his 13th birthday, and he was like, "Yeah, Pop." I said, "Listen, either we could stay here and do a little something, or I can, hop on this road real quick and get this money." He said, "Well, go get this money. Let's see what we could do." So, like he's a show business baby. My son's definitely a show business baby, and he loved it. Like he loved it, and then he didn't like it because I was busy. But I tried to make sure that I kind of seen some of the thing, a majority of stuff I needed to see from like baby to baby like about 13. I try to
Right.
see as much as possible. I missed a few things, but not as much as I was going to. I just couldn't do that. I couldn't miss everything. Like that
That's
was
good.
some cats are just like bumping. I'm gonna get this money, and they're like, nah, I can't miss it all. So like I said, I didn't really start going crazy until he got a little older, and then soon as he got grown, I'm going for a month, a week, 2 weeks, a month, whatever. I'm wilding then. But yeah,
Okay.
I didn't do that too much when he was little. I didn't like to do that. I didn't want
Yeah,
him.
yeah. I feel the same way. I'm not gonna miss important dates. There's some things I'll be happy to miss though.
Hmm.
There's sometimes a cousin will invite me somewhere or somebody invite me somewhere and I'm like, oh no, I got a show. And I
Yeah.
feel like having shows and comedy kind of saved me from a lot of nonsense too.
Oh yeah, yeah. It will. It will.
Keep me out of people's faces and, help me
Hmm.
to mind my business and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. You
So,
will.
yeah, so that's good to hear that, you put your family first. Um, because I know a lot of people, they don't give a damn. They just go straight forward and they don't care who gets
Yeah.
hurt while they're chasing their dreams.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
as comedians, we get people come up to us and say all kind of stuff. And to be honest with you, it drives me crazy. What's some of the things that you've heard people say to you before a show that you wanted to say to them? Don't say that. Don't do that. Like I
I,
I, I know what I'm thinking. I want to see if we're on the same page.
just have a good show. I don't know. I used to get like have a good show or do your thing and tear it down or whatever.
You never get. Oh, you better be funny.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's yeah. I laugh at that. I like when they say that because that just make me
Yo,
go harder. Then that's gonna
that
make me
makes
go even
my
harder.
skin
Yeah,
boil.
that
What do
made
you
me
say to that?
just sit there and watch. Because now I don't give a damn. So now I'm like, okay, let's make it happen. So now I don't really care about it anymore. When I was younger, I used to get intimidated or get angry, but now I don't care. Let them say what they want to say. Let me put that mic in my hand, and guess what's gonna happen? Your behind gonna be laughing. So
That's
that's
right.
just how I look at it right now. But when I was younger, I kind of didn't like them saying, "Hey, you better be funny." What do you mean, you better be funny? And then I kind of got nervous, and it kind of sometimes it might have threw me off my game or might
Yeah.
not. But now like this many years, it's just like, all right, man, come on, let me knock this out real quick and do what I got to do. So it's not as scary as it used to be. It gets scary to me. It gets scary when I don't perform enough. Like I like to be on stage 4 to 5 times a week if possible. So this is my busiest week and I can't wait. I love it because I don't like to sit home too long.
Let's talk about, during your downtimes. What does that look like for you? Like, how do you get through the downtimes mentally?
Well, I don't. Now I got to keep busy because I can't just sit. If I sit still too long, my brain gonna start clicking, and I'm not. I'm not gonna feel right. So now I just have to just stay busy now. So no matter what I do, I got to keep busy. I go to the gym 4 or 5 times a week. I work out. I do little, anything. I help book shows. I do all kind of stuff. So I got different hustles because I don't want to just sit still too long. I sat still for a while. And the last 2 years have been real scary. I'm not even gonna lie. It's been real
Okay.
scary, but I got through it. But it got to a point where it got so slow, and I'm calling people and calling around trying to get shows, and everybody acting funny style, or I don't have nothing. And then I look at the fly, and we looking for somebody to come through the now. I'm like, you just said you ain't had nothing. Okay, cool. So then I just said, you know what? I'm gonna just get busy. I'm gonna find something to just keep me occupied because I would just sit home watching TV, watching all these movies on Tubi and Netflix, and I'm like, nah, I can't keep doing this. I got to do something else to keep my mind clicking.
Yeah. I feel you on that. So how are you with the internet?
Um,
Everything is really on the internet now. Like there's no more Def Comedy Jam. There's no more Comic View. Everything is on your phone. So how do you handle with marketing yourself and videos and views?
well, you helped me out with that one because at one time my dial on Instagram, it was just like this. It was just frozen. Like, yo, where you going? I'm posting stuff, nothing moving.
Right.
And when we did that skit, it's still running. And that was
It
about a
is.
month ago, 2 months ago, and it's still running. I'm still getting hits. And it jumped from 9,200 to like 10,700 right now, and it's still moving. So
Yep.
thank you for that skit because you helped me.
It helped me as well because one of the things that I didn't do in the beginning is I didn't collaborate a lot with other comedians
Yeah,
with
that's a tough thing too.
production,
Yeah, you
right?
got
So what I've learned in this season in my career that collaboration is so important. It doesn't hurt me to help
me.
you, and
Nope,
it doesn't hurt you to help me.
nope.
So when we collaborated on that video, we were just sitting there. You guys were interviewing me. We were sitting there.
Hmm.
Shout out to Natasha Face,
Yep,
and we did the video. And what did I say to you? I said we're not gonna do this video over again. We're gonna tape it one time,
yep.
and we're gonna post it.
Hmm.
And it went crazy. But it took, like, for me, I don't know about you, it took me a while to realize the power of the internet. Like I didn't want no parts of it.
Me either.
Yeah, I didn't want no parts of it. I wanted to just be flat-footed and funny. That's it.
Yeah, can't do
So
that no
were
more.
you stubborn? Were you stubborn when it came to just like opening up yourself? Honestly, with I gotta stretch myself with this internet a little bit more. Was that hard?
Yeah, it was because I remember T Ray, my buddy T Ray, T Ray, the comedian out of Atlanta. We used to talk about that all the time on how he was not going fold and start doing all these videos and stuff like that. There, and this is when the internet was at its infancy when they just started YouTube and all the other stuff started popping off. Facebook, MySpace was slowing down, and
Mhm.
Facebook started popping. So when Facebook started popping, Instagram was slowly coming up, and they
Yeah.
was doing all these vines and this and that. And we just like, we ain't got time for that. And we didn't at the
Yeah.
time because we was always on the road. Like we was on the road at that time. We was on the road maybe like 7, 8 days a week or whatever, like just constantly flying out doing shows. So we didn't really need it. And then all of a sudden, those cats that we were seeing a year or two ago, they start getting commercials and movies and this and that. We like, yo, what's going on? Like, but by that time it was too late. By the time we jumped in it, it was already stew was cooking and boiling over. The money had dried up, and when they was doing it, it was so new. People was like, "Yo, we want you to do a commercial for our new soda company, whatever." So people was getting it, and then by the time we start jumping into it, the money dried up. They stopped paying everybody. They start paying little stuff here and there. Like that same video we did that got 300,000 hits. We could have made some bread off of that.
For
And
real.
now I don't know how much it is. It's not as much as it used to be, but it's
I
it's
think I made $2 off of that video.
the 300,000 video.
Yes. I
You
can show you.
playing?
Yep. Yep. I'll show you.
I
So
could
my
have sworn
question,
you like a man.
my last two questions. What advice would you give comedians that have been doing comedy over 20 years that haven't really caught on to the internet wave? They're struggling with the transition because there's a lot of comedians that's still stuck. And they're funny and they're Def Comedy Jam and they're BET, they're Comic View, but they don't know how to tap into making it translate on the video. What advice would you give them as a comedian that's finding your way over?
Get your goofy butt on there quick as soon as possible because I don't think the thing about it is nothing lasts forever.
Yes.
So although everybody's making, what's the problem with the internet now is it's flooded. And
Yeah.
that's what happened to black comedy. So when we came up in 89 and 90, black comedy was brand new
Yeah.
and everybody was going crazy about it. And then Def Comedy Jam came up and everybody went nuts and everybody wanted Def Comedy Jam in their city. And then everybody wanted Comic View in their city. And then Comic View and Def Jam kind of ran its course. So everybody went into the movie theaters. So everybody wanted to see you in the movie theater. And then people wanted to see you on television. And then people wanted to see you act. And then people wanted to see you, do everything. And then little by little, it all slowed down and it jumped on the internet. And then the internet started going and people start talking about the internet and then it's that and the third and it's so wonderful and it's so this and it's that. And it went viral. And then the next thing you know, the internet is going to bubble because it's been around for a certain amount of years and
Yep.
everybody's jumping on it. And it's not that same magic like it used to be.
No, because someone controls the algorithm. So if they want to stop your flow, they know how to do that, not intentionally, but they're looking for a certain type of look.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
So
They're
exactly.
looking for
So
certain faces, certain type of looks. So what advice would you give a comedian just coming into the game? Like with all of your experience, all of your notoriety, what would you give someone that's just like, where do I go from here? They're a local comedian.
mhm.
What do I do?
Well, they definitely got to hop on the road, and it may not pay nothing. You got to invest in yourself. And
Yeah.
you gotta take your money, save up your bread or whatever. You got a job or whatever, save your money, save your bread, make them phone calls, go out of town, step outside your comfort zone, and hit different states to see different reactions. Because yeah, you might be the king in Cleveland, but you might not be. You ain't nothing in New York or Jersey or Chicago. Because you doing local material.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately you got to do the little the media presence thing, what have you. But um, that shouldn't be the only thing you focusing on because I know cats that's funny as I don't know what on that phone, but you get that mic in their hand and that crowd, they all they can't handle it
Right.
because it's different.
I want to thank you. We almost out of time. I want to thank you for allowing me to interview you. I think this was a great interview.
Hmm.
I learned a lot, learned some different things about you that I didn't even know. And I consider you one of my best friends in comedy.
Yeah.
But before we go, I want you to do one of your impressions.
So you want me to do Monique right now? I'm gonna do Monique all day long. Let me say something out here, cause baby.
Thank you guys for tuning in to Comic Life, the talk show. And thank you to our guest, Kool Bubba Ice. Kool Bubba Ice, where can they find you? Where can they follow you?
They can follow me on Kool Bubba Ice on Facebook. Yes, I still got a Facebook page. With
Yes.
Kool Bubba Ice, KoolBubbaIce. You can follow me on Instagram, spelled the same way, Kool Bubba Ice, KoolBubbaIce. And you can also follow me on TikTok on the Kool Bubba Ice again, KoolBubbaIce on all platforms. Facebook, Instagram, Kool Bubba Ice, spelled the same exact way. Follow me. Come to my shows. Support by the merchandise. I sell T-shirts. I sell my Kool Bubba Ice. I got too much free time panties. I got too much free time shirts. Yeah, I got the thongs too, and I'm gonna be selling some other stuff as well in a minute. So bear with me. I'll be some other merchandise as well.
Thank you. Thank you for watching Comic Life, Everything Comedy. Stay tuned for our next episode. I'm your
Yeah.
host, Monique Latise.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Kool Bubba Ice. Yay, yay. And you're watching Comic Life by Monique Latise. If you ain't watching Comic Life, you ain't watching comedy.